If they don't love a player, and I don't believe that's the case because based on all that we've heard, they do love one of the quarterbacks. They know they need one of the quarterbacks. I think they're setting themselves up just in case to couch it by backing Daniel Jones. Bottom line is this. You know it. I know it. They know it. Daniel Jones ain't it. They have the 6th pick. Figure it out. Whether it's trading up for May, whether it's waiting for McCarthy at 6, the Giants need to get a quarterback and officially end the Daniel Jones era tonight.
I think they're ready to do that. I do. I said that yesterday. I think they need to get the quarterback. There's no doubt. They know it. He's injury prone. He's average arm talent. Starting to make too much money, and the Giants aren't ready to win a Super Bowl. So you got to move on. But the other reason why they need to move on here is that the Shane Dable duo needs to start their clock over. One really good year, one atrocious year. Think about this. If they don't draft the quarterback tonight, right? And I don't want to hear second or third round. I'm talking first rounder. If they don't do that, then they go into next season. Say if they're 6-11, whatever, something like that, maybe 7-10. Now you're already into year 4. You don't have your guy, and time's ticking. They know this. Now, it might not be the guy that you want. It might not be the team that they trade with that we expect. I would be borderline stunned if the Giants don't get a quarterback tonight. But I got to at least tell you, there is another avenue to have a successful night because there's certain things that they can control. They've got to be willing to trade. They've got to be willing to be incredibly aggressive, but they can't control what other teams want to do. If the Patriots don't want to trade out of 3, and the Giants don't like the player that remains at either 4, 5, or 6 if they want to move there or stay at 6, they can't be dumb. And at that point, you take the best receiver, you take the best offensive lineman.
Right, but it's too close. See, if they take a wide receiver, I'll flip out. You can't have a wide receiver.
They need one.
Lineman, I can understand, and that's only in the case of, like you said, they can't trade up for number 3 to get May. McCarthy is gone before number 6 because I'm not trading up for McCarthy to go get him. If a lineman's there, then okay, and then maybe you take a quarterback later in the draft or however they figure it out. This has to be the end of the Daniel Jones era. It can't be Jones anymore. It just can't. And I don't want a wide receiver because here's what's going to happen. You take Malik Neighbors, you take whatever wide receiver that they love, then it's, okay, well, now Daniel Jones has some weapons, just like you heard last year with Waller and Jalen Hyatt. No. End of story. It's time. Shane Dable need a new quarterback. Figure it out. Hopefully tomorrow by 10 a.m. they have and they get their guy. I don't believe McCarthy is going to go before number 6. So we're going to learn if they really do love J.J. McCarthy or if they prefer Daniel Jones for a year over McCarthy. Because to me, I think they would trade up and take Drake May. I just don't believe.
I do too.
I don't believe New England's going to do it.
So here's the problem. The Raiders are getting antsy. They need a quarterback. The Vikings, who have multiple first-round picks, they need a quarterback. There are other teams that need to get their quarterback, so there's a lot of competition to move into that 3rd spot or 4. And I don't think the Giants need to be reckless here. I do disagree in this regard. I want the quarterback, but if it's not the guy and they get Neighbors, you crushed it.
Oh, my God.
By the way,
a wide receiver?
By the way, Sal.
Yeah, how'd the Odell Beckham Jr. pick work out?
It worked out pretty well until he became an infant and forgot how to comport himself. He started peeing like he was, ripping on a fire hydrant in Philly.
It was a disaster, even though he's the most skilled wide receiver ever.
They let it become a disaster. No. Coughlin got soft and let him do whatever he wanted to do. The first couple of years with Beckham was phenomenal.
It was a horrible draft pick because of the position. They could have had Aaron Donald. They could have had Zach Martin. And it said they take a wide receiver. You cannot do that.
But we can do that with every team, even the great ones, and say, well, they should have taken this guy or this position.
No, but it's about philosophy. You don't take a wide receiver when you have other areas of need, in particular offensive line, or you want to throw out quarterback. Like a wide receiver is the last thing. It is a luxury item. You do not need a great wide receiver to win. This is not fantasy football.
But they don't have a great quarterback, so they do need a great receiver.
A great receiver does nothing without a good quarterback.
Look at the Bengals. Look at Jamar Chase. They took him 6.
A good receiver. Yeah, they have a quarterback.
I understand that.
A good receiver without a good offensive line or a good quarterback is absolutely worthless. You're building outside in. The Giants already tried that with Jerry Reese. Why don't you take a tight end then with Evan Ingram? How'd that work out? Again, heads up their rear end. You do not build that way. You want to build an offense, build an offensive line, get a quarterback. I don't care if it's the best wide receiver. How'd they do it with Saquon Barkley? Same exact thing. Same thing. Well, Barkley, touched by the five fingers
nobody's
of
going to
God,
fight
whatever.
you on that. That was asinine from the get-go based on the position. We all knew that.
But it's the point we get caught up in this fantasy football world, and fans want, we'll get into the Jets in a little bit, too, with the tight end. I get it. It's sexy. Oh, yeah, tight end, wide receivers. Those are the guys that are putting up numbers for your fantasy team. Those are the guys that are putting up the overs for your parlays. That's not how you win football games. You see Penny Sewell getting signed by the Titans?
Yeah,
by the
Penny
Lions?
Sewell. Yeah, sure.
That's the
pick. You also got signed their wide receiver.
Yeah, understood. But without Sewell, it wouldn't have worked out.
No, I get it. Listen, the one thing that I think that you're missing that I'm saying, I'm not saying that Neighbors or, not that Harrison's going to drop to 6, but one of the top 3 wide receivers, I'm not saying you're getting that guy for Daniel Jones. I'm saying you're getting that guy for whomever's next. I'm with you. Daniel Jones is done.
Right. Okay,
it's
we agree on that.
Not good enough. Too much money. Injury prone. Not the guy. We know it. They know it. Giant fans know it. At least about 90-something% of smart Giant fans. Daniel Jones's era is done. I don't want to be, and I'm not trying to be shaded gray there. It doesn't matter in this regard. Yeah, you might like some finality tonight. You'd like to see one of these young bucks stride across the podium, get a Giants cap, Drake May put it on.
And we know it's over.
And we know, but we already know. They know. They know by the 2-year extension they gave him after the playoff win. They knew watching him again last year, seeing his knee explode. They know it's over. So we're kind of saying the same thing.
Right.
I just don't need to see it pop tonight because I trust Shane and I trust Dable.
Me too, but here's the problem. If it's not a quarterback tonight, then what? Shane also said, you could trust Shane all you want, and I do too.
Yeah.
He also said they love Daniel Jones. I mean, he said that recently. He said it.
Well,
they're ready to go with Daniel Jones, the week 1 starter.
Do you really believe that?
I don't know what to believe because you can't have two things.
That.
Here's all right, how about this scenario? Let's say they take a quarterback in the 3rd round, 4th round.
All right.
Who do you think's starting this year for the Giants?
It's probably, if Jones is healthy, probably going to be Jones.
So then it could still be another year of evaluation. Hey, let's
No way.
Oh, absolutely.
No. Evaluation, no.
Yeah, especially if they take a wide receiver. If they take Neighbors, here's going to be the talking point. Well, Daniel Jones, you know what? He did take us to the playoffs a couple years ago. We have the quarterback, potentially later round guy, which, by the way, it sounds great. Oh, yeah, take Bo Nix or take this guy later.
Yeah.
And who knows where exactly they're going to go.
Or Penix if you drop back, whatever.
Yeah, well, those guys still, to me, would be too rich for the Giants at where they're not taking them in the 1st round. Those guys might go late first round.
Penix going 1st round.
That's what I'm saying. So how the Giants...
They could drop back. That's what I'm saying.
Well, drop back would be different.
Which is the smart move.
Okay, but that's still different than taking a quarterback outside of tonight.
Yeah.
Because if you take a quarterback 2nd, 3rd round, whatever.
I'm not interested in that.
Well, right now that's just taking a quarterback just to take one who's going to sit under Daniel Jones. You take one in the 1st round, you know that it's over for Daniel Jones. It's just a matter of
but you don't know
when.
that the kid that they take tonight, if they do, is going to start week 1.
Right, which is fine.
But let me ask you this.
Not with Daniel Jones. If it's me, and I said this months ago, and then I didn't think that there was any realistic chance, but you figure out a way to get out of it. I don't care. Daniel Jones cannot start for this football team anymore, period. Because here's what's going to happen. If they don't take a quarterback tonight, let's say they take Neighbors, and everybody's, oh, yeah, we love it. Wide receivers, fantasy football, great. Then it's going to become the Daniel Jones show with Neighbors, and people say, oh, the offensive line's healthy, Jones is healthy, let's see what he can do. And then it's another year of Daniel Jones. And even if he does have some success, there's going to be potential to get sucked back in, whether it's the fan base, whether it's Shane, whether it's the owner. That can't happen. End of story, done. It's over for Daniel Jones. Cement that tonight by taking a quarterback.
Again, I was saying this, I said this actually 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So I don't disagree with your premise. I'm largely with you, but they can't be irresponsible, and they can't, they can't trade up and reach. You want to trade up and say, my guy who I love, and I know that with every ounce of football conviction, this dude is the dude, and he's the dude for the next 10, 12, 15 years. Give up what you got to give up. Get to 3, get to 4, make the trade, boom, and it's all good. But let me also present one other possibility, all right? Now, you're not going to like this, but it's not completely implausible. They can't get the guy that they want. They don't get the guy that they want. They take Neighbors, right? And Jones, and again, I'm not a Daniel Jones believer. I want to be clear about that. But what happens if he has a fantastic season?
That's what I'm saying. Okay, but there's going to be a problem again.
How is that a problem? I don't think Daniel Jones is the long-term answer. I obviously don't. But if a guy comes out and balls out with weapons, don't you think we might have to reassess things?
No, I don't.
think he'll ball out either, but if he does...
But that's exactly my point.
But why? If he plays phenomenally.
You're right, he could. Let's say they do take Neighbors, and he does ball out, and they have success again, just like they did 2 years ago.
I don't mean 15 touchdowns. I mean ball out.
20, 25 touchdowns,
all right,
whatever.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and you're going to get sucked back in, and I'm not doing it anymore. That's the point, and I do believe that the Giants, could make that a possibility and get sucked back in, and that would be the worst thing moving forward, because then the following year he'd get hurt again, or he'd start to turn the ball over.
But then the contract's up. Yeah, and it's less and less punitive.
Now you're 4 years into Shane and Dable, and you still don't know what they can do with their own guy.
But you're also not taking a $69.3 million cap hit if you just cut him or trade him now.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that's what I want to do.
I know that, but that's a possibility, and that's even more the reason why I say definitively they need to go get their guy tonight. Here's the options that I would do. We'll get to the calls here in a second. 877-337-6666. One would be trade up for Drake, man. I think that is their first choice.
100%
New England's not going to do that, I firmly believe, so that leaves you on option 2, which is wait for McCarthy at number 6. Now, they have to determine if they love him. Sounds like they do. I mean, you listen to J.J. McCarthy himself. They spent the most time with him. By the way, that could also be because they think it's the more realistic option. If they don't love McCarthy, then trade down.
Or they could be trying to send signals to the rest of the NFL. We love this kid, and then everyone's like, oh, we got to be enamored with him. Then they take McCarthy. They get the kid they really want.
If you love McCarthy and he's there at 6, you take him. Yeah. That would be the second option.
Okay.
If you don't love McCarthy, or if he's not there at 6, you trade down.
I agree.
And take one of the mid to late first round.
I like that. I think that's a good scenario.
Yeah, right.
I think trading down might actually make them better, might help. I don't think there's a discernible difference.
I'd rather that than draft one of the wide receivers.
Gotcha. All right, I'm still a little open to the receiver because I think he's that good. I think actually all three of them are that good. But I get it. 6th overall, you got holes everywhere. It doesn't make the most sense taking a receiver. I'm not just going to push back. I don't think that you're totally wrong at all. But I think if the Giants trade back, I have to love Michael Penix. And say if they get Penix tonight, and the Raiders will be trying to get in territory to get him as well. If the Giants walk away with a quarterback in the range of, let's say from 6, they move back, say 10 to 14 or 10 to 15, and they get the quarterback that they think is awesome, and they get additional assets, and they start sprinkling in those holes, it could be a grand slam night for the Giants.
Right.
If the Giants... Listen, we can debate the talents of the players. That's subjective. Let's everybody get one thing straight here. If the Giants brass is on top of it tonight, and if they are shrewd and they pounce when they can, the Giants can set themselves up for the next decade. This is a massive night.
Bingo. That's exactly right. And tomorrow at 10 a.m., we should be talking about the future with Shane Dable and whoever that new quarterback is. BT and Sal on the Fan. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody will work the Jets in as well. We'll do that coming up this hour or throughout the show. I mean, this is a draft show. I know we got the Knicks tonight. Can't wait for that either. Game 3, an important Game 3 for Jalen Brunson and the Knicks trying to put their foot on the throat of the 76ers, so we'll do that as well. But it is about the Giants tonight and potentially changing the course of their franchise moving forward by taking a quarterback. Frank is in White Plains. What's up, Frank? Frank? This is a joke, right?
That
is unacceptable.
I got to tell you,
that's unacceptable.
You're not going to find the show in the world that comes out at that pace for the first 16 minutes and rifles off what we rifled off. And that is a buzzkill that drives me insane. So let's not belabor it, but it bothers both of us. Let's go.
Ari is calling from West Orange. Ari?
Come on, Ari.
Hey, how you doing, guys? Good to talk to you again. Yeah, guys, I'm going to bring it. If the Giants go into next season with Daniel Jones and Drew Lock at quarterback, they will win no more than 5 games. Joe Shane might be fired. Brian Dable will be fired. You can bank on that. The Giants have to get this right. They have to draft a legit franchise quarterback. This idea of drafting a wide receiver with that pick, Neighbors, whoever else, I don't care how good this guy is, all of a sudden it's going to make Daniel Jones throw for 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns and be at home.
No.
It's nonsense. It's nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you 100%. The Daniel Jones era is over. He's going to get hurt. He's not going to play a full season. We know what he is. He's going to beat the likes of Washington and Arizona, and he goes up against over 500 teams like Dallas and Philly, and he gets destroyed. Look at the history.
Yep.
The only way that this works is if the Giants draft a legit franchise quarterback. You look at the NFL, that's how it is. You got to get yourself a quarterback. They have, I don't know where the chips may fall. I'm hoping, I agree with you guys, I'm hoping Joe Shane has done the homework. But you know what, guys, at the end of the day, let's face it, the Giants have done nothing but lose for the past decade. So, you know what, you got to take a swing at some point. You got to just say, the heck with it. And if the guy that's what I mean. You know what I mean, guys?
No, I think that you're right. I appreciate the call there, buddy. Thank you very much. Yeah, they've got to take a swing, but it's got to be a pitch in the strike zone. That's the difference. Like, I want to see the Giants take a massive swing tonight and crush one into the upper deck. I don't want to see the Giants feel compelled. We got to swing the bat and hit a little looper the other way that bleeds in for a bloop base hit. So
what would be a reach in your mind? Because we agree, right?
Well, I don't know how a reach in my mind. It's hard to. I'm not trying to be evasive, but I don't know. Okay, but I don't know exactly what they think about these prospects. So I'll give you an example. I don't know if this is exactly what they're thinking. If they love Drake May,
right,
and they like JJ,
right.
But they can't get May, and they quote unquote settle on McCarthy when they could have had an amazing old lineman or transcendent receiver. That's dumb to me. That's dumb.
Interesting.
You can't do that. Why would you want them to do that?
Well, you said if they like McCarthy.
No, if they like versus loving.
Well, I would just guess, and again, we don't know, so it's hard to say what they're going to do or what the exact circumstances. We could say what we think they should do or what might happen, but we really don't know. I believe that they want Drake May at number 3. I also believe New England is not going to give up that pick unless it's a ridiculous package, and I'm not sure the Giants either have that or willing to give that.
Well, should they give it up? That's the other part of the equation. They've got so many holes.
Right.
Do they mortgage all that to get one quarterback?
So
I don't know.
If I'm Joe Shane, I say, well, we love Drake May.
Yeah.
We like McCarthy and think he could be a franchise guy. So which one is it better for us to give the extra trade package to get the guy we love or sit tight, get a guy we believe could also be a franchise quarterback at 6? Where I think they would be reaching is if they traded up to get McCarthy. That's what I'm not doing. I'm waiting at 6. I'm going to call everybody's bluff and say, fine, you want to trade up to number 4 and get McCarthy? You do that. I'm not doing it. I'm waiting at number 6. If he's there at 6, I'm taking him. If he's not, I'm trading down.
See, I wouldn't do that either, though, because this now goes against the entire aura of the building. Like, if you're convicted but maybe there's a slight difference, like Drake May could be this and McCarthy's not quite that, but boy, he's close. You can't sit there at 6. Like, at that point, it would be reckless not to. Now, if you're lukewarm on McCarthy, and again, we don't know really how they feel, but if you like him, but you can do without him, but it's worthy of a 6, then you sit at 6 and you take him. But if you like him more than just like him, you can't let somebody beat you to him.
If you love McCarthy, then I could see trading up for him. But if you like him, I'd rather just sit back.
What if you really like him? That's kind of what I'm saying.
In this scenario, you can't get to number 3, right? Because the Patriots are not trading that back. Otherwise, if they do, then you're going to get a quarterback that you love, assuming it's Drake May.
Yeah.
I mean, or you could get McCarthy, but that to me would be reckless. If I love May and I could get to number 3, I'm doing that. Even if I love McCarthy and I can't get to number 3, I'm not trading up to number 4.
Then the Vikings are going to jump into either 5 or 4 with the Cardinals. They'll get McCarthy, and then you don't get somebody that you really like.